Hi everyone. Okay, maybe third time's the charm. I'm gonna give it a try. Um, I am a little late to doing this. I was supposed to hop on about an hour ago, but with sleepy babies and yard work going on at my neighbor's house, it was really difficult to make that work. So now that this one is asleep and the yard work seems to be done, I'm gonna give this a try. So yesterday I talked about going live today and talking to you guys about health and mental health when we are work from home mamas. So that's what I wanted to talk about because for the last several years, I've been having some issues that we didn't really know what was going on. We couldn't pinpoint exactly what was happening, and because of that, there were just some hardships, even during pregnancies and things like that. And my pregnancies were particularly difficult for me. And so once I switched to working from home, it just became a little overwhelming. And this year, they finally diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. And then, as anyone who's followed me for any amount of time knows, I'm no stranger to struggling with anxiety and depression episodes, and postpartum has been no exception to that. So, obviously, I've had two back to back postpartum periods because I've had two babies back to back. And so, it's been really important for me to get everything under control. And as I started building up my business and as I started working from home and realizing I still needed to contribute to the family, I noticed that there were a lot of days that were harder than others. And this has been particularly true of the time period since bringing our son home. And that's been the last 4 months ish. We've been trying to figure everything out, and things went downhill really fast, health wise and mental health wise. And so, what I posted yesterday, my post said, health includes your mental health. And that is absolutely true. And so, this spring and summer, our printable that we put out from Soul Cadence Coaching is all about self-care and working from home. And it's a practical self-care guide for working from home. And I'm going to have that in the comments below, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description below. But I want to talk a little bit about that and talk about why working from home can affect us so much, especially if we have a chronic health or mental health issue. And part of the reason is because there was a time when every household was like a one income household. And then we transitioned to this place where we had to work two incomes, and both parents left the home and kids were going to childcare. And then things started to change. Moms were wanting to stay home with their kids. A lot more moms were doing things like multi-level marketing, starting their own businesses, or they were working for their company from home. And parents started to make that shift. Well, then 2020 came and everything hit the fan, as you all know. And so when we look at why working from home affects us so much, when we worked out of the home, like when I worked in an office, it was hard sometimes to leave it at the office, especially when I worked in partial hospitalization with younger kids. I would bring that home with me sometimes, but there was a reprieve. There was a drive home from work. There was, I could escape. When you work from home, though, your office is here wherever you set it up, whether it's its own space, like we have our own office, which I'm not in right now because baby nap time and my husband's out, and so sometimes we have to adjust. But whatever that is, it's harder to do. You don't have a commute to let it go. You don't have those outlets. And now that 2020 has come, we don't even have get-togethers with our friends. We don't have coffee dates anymore. We don't have play dates. We don't have the libraries and the parks and the things that we were doing as work from home moms to kind of get away, or as stay-at-home moms to kind of get out of that area. So we want to look at some self-care stuff, because if you in general are just working from home, it's very difficult. But especially if you have a chronic health condition or a mental health issue going on that you're battling, we need to talk about some ways to stay motivated, to stay healthy while we're one, in the midst of this chaos of the world around us, but two, as we're working from home and we're teaching our children and we are trying to do the best we can for our families. And so I'm going to look at my notes a little bit. I have them in front of me, and it's really hard to position my laptop while I have my baby on my lap too, but this is what we got to do to get through nap time. So the first thing we want to look at before we even think about anything working from home is you have to think about accountability. Now, if you work for someone else, that's a little easier. So on Thursdays and Fridays, I teach. I have to show up live. I have classes scheduled. My students expect me. And so I show up at a specific time. That's my accountability. But if you run your own business, whether it's a multi-level marketing business, you run your own coaching business, you run your own sales business on Etsy, you run your own, whatever it is, you have to build in your accountability. So like for this business, I have to figure out my accountability to you guys on my own. So you have to build in your accountability. If you work for someone else, it's a lot easier because they tell you what your schedule should be or what projects they need you to work on. It's a lot easier. But the first thing we have to do is find basic accountability for working from home. If you're anything like me, you can get distracted by the dishes, by the kids, by whatever it is. And now that we're in 2020 and we have all this weird stuff going on with education, we have to become accountable for our children's education. We have to be accountable to make sure they're getting their assignments done. If we switch to homeschooling, finding the right platform to homeschool them on, the right curriculum, there has to be accountability there too. So I have fellow business partners that I collaborate with, that we check in with each other. That's how I get that done. But now let's kind of dive into some practical daily self-care things that are especially important if you are struggling with a chronic health condition or with a mental health issue that's ongoing. These are especially important to help you, one, remain accountable, and two, get the things done that you want to do, and three, live a full life. And these will help establish a rhythm of cadence in your life, which is what Soul Cadence is all about. In my videos, I talk about life isn't about balance. It's not this balancing act. It's really about the flow and the cadence of your life. And so these self-care tips will help you kind of stay on track with that. So the first one is community and connection. So don't avoid get-togethers or outings or things like that. Now in 2020, these are going to look different. But what this means is maybe set up some Zoom calls with fellow business people. Go to a park that's not very busy. Go to the beach. Go to the lake. In Oklahoma, that's really hard. I don't do well with heat. I actually get really sick really easily in the heat. My body does not handle high temperatures very well. So when we moved to Washington, I'm really excited to be able to go to the lake during the summer without worrying about that. But in the fall, in the spring, go do stuff. Go to the park. My husband and I, once initial quarantine was kind of winding down and we were trying to figure things out, my husband and I went on a drive date. We drove, we went to the lake. It was kind of a cloudy, kind of a cool, warm day. And then we got home and we took a walk in our neighborhood. And that's what we did. And so don't avoid connection with others. I still make contact with my friends. I still try to interact with them. I still get together with my family on a small basis, on a part-time basis when we're all healthy. I still make sure my daughter has social connection through our church, and my husband still gets social connection through our church. And we're trying to get my health back into a place where I can actually go places a lot better. It's been really difficult. We're managing everything with my doctors. And so that's the next point, is get with your doctor. If you know you have a chronic health issue, a chronic mental health issue, go with your doctor. Talk with them about it. If your medications aren't working, try to find a new one. Try to find something different. Try to find something that works for you. And get on a good schedule with that so you don't forget your medication, so you don't forget the things that you need to do, whether it's for your physical or your mental well-being, because health includes mental health. It absolutely does. You cannot be the healthiest you if your mental health is suffering. It just is a proven fact. We learn all about that when I was studying counseling, when I was studying psychology. We learned about biology and emotion and feeling and mental health. And when I teach my psychology class to my students, my high school students, we talk about the brain and how that works too. And so get with your doctor. Make sure that you're, even in this time, even if it's virtual visits, make sure that you're making your appointments. Make sure that you're telling them what's working and what's not working, because that's the only way you're going to get to the best you. And then now we're going to go into more of this, the day to day. So we've talked about community, we've talked about keeping in touch with your doctor and keeping your medicine or your health care, your vitamins, things like that, putting those on a good schedule. So what's next? Well, now we got to look at the practical day to day. So one of them is to just get up and get going. It's hard to do when you don't have a set schedule. It's hard to do when you get up and you're like, oh, the dishes need done, the laundry needs done, or if you just want to stay in your pajamas all day. For me, what really helps me get in the mindset of I'm shifting from just relaxing all day to actually doing something is putting on a bra and a different outfit. Even if it's loungewear, even if you're just changing into different loungewear. Then we want to look at, maybe setting up a schedule for yourself. If you're not working for someone else, if you're working for yourself, set up a schedule. Because if you set up a schedule, that's more accountability that we talked about already. Another thing to do is to open up your blinds, open up your windows, let the sun in. Right across, we actually just got a kitty, and right across from me is a window. We have another window, and now that we're figuring out my headaches a little bit, I've been able to open them up a lot more, and that's helpful. We need vitamin D. We need the sun to make us feel better. And then maybe setting up a workspace for yourself, setting up something separate. So most of our work, whether I'm working from home or my husband is working from home, we'll usually use the office that we have. And it's too small for us to work in there together, but we kind of make it work. We have a workspace. It works for us, and then we adjust as needed if we have to work in the living room or the bedroom or whatever. But setting up a designated workspace really rejuvenates your mind and says, okay, I'm ready to work now. And it really gives us the motivation almost to get out of bed, because if we are just not feeling well, if we're not feeling up to it, then we can lounge in bed all day. And that's not good for anyone, because you want to get up, you want to get moving. That's another good tip, is to get moving, get your body going a little bit. My husband and I have recently started a health journey, and so we have our Fitbits on again. I don't know if you guys can see that. And so it helps us keep track of steps we're taking. It helps us keep track of what we're doing for our health, and that's really important. And then the last ones are just basic health, hygiene, healthcare needs that we need to be doing every day anyway. And as a mental health professional, these are things we look at to make sure our clients aren't in a slump or in a backslide. And that is things like taking care of your practical hygiene, your hair, your brushing your teeth, your showering, your doing things like that. For me, it's also making sure I have my nails done. For a long time, I didn't do them. Now I have them done, and I use a company called Color Street Nails, and it's really easy. They're just nail strips. I put them on. It's real nail polish, and I need my nails done, but I also can't afford to get a manicure all the time. And I'm really bad at doing my own nails, but it helps me feel more confident and helps me feel better about myself. And so, nails. The other thing is making sure you're drinking water. So, water, very important. And you're eating pretty well, and you're not snacking all day. When we snack all day, it's really difficult. So, one thing that I do is I kind of, in the morning, if I know that I'm going to be snacky, what I'll do is I'll make some light popcorn. And we're doing Weight Watchers, and so the amount I make is worth 1 point, 2 points if I use the whole bag. And I'll pour that in a cup or a bowl, and then that's it. When that's gone, then I'm done. But if that lasts me all morning, then great. It lasts me all morning, and I snack on it in the morning. But if not, then it's gone, and that's it. And I try not to take snacks to the office. It's a lot harder on the days where I'm in the living room with my kids, and the kitchen's right over there. But when we snack all day, one, it screws up our metabolism. Two, we kind of are just eating for boredom and filling the void and things like that. And it's just not healthy for us overall. So, water, don't snack all day. And then, get your body moving, get your heart rate up, things like that. All of these are also important. These are important for our physical well-being, but they're also important for our mental well-being. And remember, health involves and includes mental health. It just does. You can't separate the two out. That's why exercise actually improves your mood. That's why different foods have different effects on how you feel. That's why water is super important, and being hydrated can actually make your whole outlook on the world so different. So, with that, I want to come back to this idea of community. So, community and connection looks really different right now in the midst of a global pandemic, in the midst of a crazy election year, in the midst of everything that's going on with human trafficking, with violence, with everything that's going on in the world. Community looks different, and the community that I have tried to create is one for work from home and stay at home mamas who want that connection, who want that community, and who are just doing their best day to day. Now, we might not all agree on basic things. Like, maybe what I would feed my family is different than what you would feed your family, but that's okay. Maybe my favorite kind of exercise is different than your favorite kind of exercise. Maybe how I accomplish some of these self-care tasks looks different than how you do. For me today, throwing up my hair in a ponytail is me taking care of my hair. Maybe for you, it's not getting your nails done. Maybe for you, it's getting a haircut every 6 weeks. I am in desperate need of a haircut, but that's not something that I'm super concerned about, and so it hasn't happened yet. But this community is not about tearing each other down for being different. It's about building each other up for community, building each other up for our needs, who we are, where we come from. And because of that, I do have I have this printout for you. I have another printout of, should I even work from home? Like, is that even something that I should consider? And along with that, I have some, so those will be in the comments below. But I also have the membership community that has access to the Facebook group. And if you download either of those, you'll get access to the Facebook group where you'll see videos like this before anyone else, where I go live and do my coachings and things like that. You'll have access to all of that. But if you join the village, what I call the Soul Cadence Village, then you become part of the community, that village that helps you become, that just helps you become more connected and helps keep you accountable and helps hold you up and lift you up and encourage you, and any behaviors that are opposite of that are not welcome in there. And so there will be more information about that as we go, but for now, really just take a look at those resources, this self-care workbook and the Should I Work From Home guide and things like that. Just take those resources and kind of think about those things. And so I'll leave a link below where you guys can sign up and get those straight to your emails, straight to your inbox, and that's gonna be below. But I really wanted to share my heart today. I really wanted to share this idea of health and mental health when we work from home, things that we can do to just help ourselves feel better. And when you are in pain from head to toe, or if you just feel like you can't drag yourself out of bed, sometimes just going through some of these motions helps things get going. And sometimes it means taking your pain med and sitting at your desk and reading something, or sitting at your desk and doing one small task, and then that's it for the day. And sometimes it means powering through and getting a ton of stuff done. You get to decide what that looks like for you, for your business, for your boss, for whatever. But just doing that sometimes can make a world of difference. And if anyone of you have ever experienced chronic illness, you know that that can also affect your mental health, and vice versa. So there will be more videos like this, more videos on this topic, more videos on things like this, because it's so personal to me. And it's more prevalent than we would prefer to talk about. And so this community is a safe space for that. It's a safe space for us mamas who are just making it day by day, who are trying to figure it out, who are trying to figure out what to do, whether we have support or not. I'm blessed. I have a very supportive husband. I am absolutely beyond blessed with him and what he does for us. And so I know not everyone is that lucky. So we're going to take a look at what would this look like if you didn't have that? What would this look like if that's not a part of your life? How you can build that community, and maybe you'll let us be a part of that community for you. So with that, I hope you got some help from this video. I hope you got some encouragement from this video. I really hope you check out those 2 resources that are going to be in the comments of this video or in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, just remember I am the chatty YouTuber. That's what I do. I don't really vlog. You're not going to see a lot of my babies. It's just going to be me talking to you guys about mom stuff and work stuff and business stuff and life stuff. And I will share other things and tips and things like that, but a lot of it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be unfiltered, unedited. This is just who I am. So that's what you can expect from me, because that's what I do. Because video editing is not my thing. I'm a writer, I'm a mama, I'm a businesswoman, but videos and editing, not so much. So it's all gonna be just this, me connecting with you this way. So with that, I do hope you guys have a great Wednesday, or whatever day you happen to watch this. And I do hope you come back and visit us real soon. And with that, bye friends.